Good morning, everyone. So today I am going to start the new chapter, that is system of particles and rotational motion. So already we have started the chapter in the previous online classes. So once again I am going to repeat the basic important terms related to the system of particles and rotational motion. So let us consider the chapter name system of particles and rotational motion. It is having first what is meant by system. So here system is nothing but collection of large number of particles of a body. Means a body will be having very large number of particles that we are going to call it as a system. And next comes what is rigid body. So rigid body means here it is the body in which the size and shape of the body is not going to change due to the application of the external forces. So that is called as rigid body. So then comes what is meant by motion of the rigid body. So motion of the rigid body is having two types of motion, as you know already. It is translational motion and rotational motion. So what is meant by translational motion? It is the type of motion in which all the particles will be moving in a straight line with the same velocity, that is called as a translational motion. So here you can see the body is sliding downwards, which is going to having large number of particles. They are going to move the same velocity. Then comes rotational motion. So rotational motion here you can observe the body, rigid body. So it is moving, or it is going to rotate with the fixed line here, perpendicular line, that is called as axis. So all the particles of the rigid body, they are going to have their centers on the fixed line, and they are going to rotate about that fixed line, that is called as axis of rotation. So that is called as rotational motion. So the system or the rigid body will be having these two types of motions, that is translational and rotational motion. Then comes what is axis. Axis is nothing but it is a fixed line in the rigid body. So here you can observe this is a fixed line in the rigid body in which all the particles are going to rotate about that fixed line, or it is called as axis of rotation. Then comes what is center of mass. Center of mass is nothing but it is a point in the rigid body. So where you can observe here, suppose if I consider this is a rigid body, so we'll be having large number of particles like this. So all the particles will be having masses. So considering the mass of the entire body, so there will be only one point in the rigid body where the total mass of the body is treated to be present or assumed to be present. So this point where total mass of the body is assumed to be present, that is called as the center of mass. That is the entire mass is supposed to be concentrated at that point. Then comes what is called as center of mass of two particles. Means if the rigid body, suppose if it is having only two particles, then how to calculate the center of mass in that case. Suppose here I am considering here along the x-axis, let us consider m1 and m2 are the two particles. They are having at a distance x1 and x2. So already I have explained in the classes. So it is m1 is having at a distance of x1 from the origin, m2 is at a distance x2 from the origin. In that case, what will be the center? The center of mass of that body will be given by the formula, that is m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2. So if it is along the y-axis, then how to calculate center of mass? So for y-axis, center of mass for y-axis is going to be m1 y1 plus m2 y2 divided by m1 plus m2. Or for z-axis, then it is m1 z1 plus m2 z2 divided by m1 plus m2. If for the n number of particles are there, not only for two particles, if you are calculating the center of mass for the n number of particles, then so it is going to be m1 m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 dash so on m1 xn divided by m1 plus m2 plus so on mn. So similarly m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus so on m1 mn yn divided by m1 plus m2 plus so on mn, like that. So here if the two particles are having same mass, then what will be its center of mass? That is xm is equal to m1 m2 becomes m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m, that is mass same is going to be same, therefore it going to be mx1 plus mx2 divided by 2m. So here if you take m common and here it becomes 2m, get cancels, x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So it is xm, that is center of mass along the x-axis. It is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Similarly for y-axis, that is m1 y1, that is y1 plus y2 divided by 2m. Like that it is going to be continuous. So if for n number of particles, if there are n number of particles, they are along x, y and z axis, then how to calculate the center of mass? So we are going to calculate center of mass. In that case, that is RCM is equal to, that is here I have written m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus so on mn xn. This is for x axis, this is for y axis, so on. But for the general, all the x, y and z cases, z axis, we are going to write the center of mass for here RSM is equal to m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus so on mn rn divided by m1 plus m2 plus so on mn. This is for general, it is for general case. So this is for only x axis. So if we want to write for x, y and z, then instead of x1, x2, x3, we are going to replace it for r1, r2, r3, so on. So here r is nothing but that is the distance along x, y and z axis, that is the position vector. So here, if for the x-axis, if you write the center of mass for n particles, so here I have written 1 upon capital M. 1 upon capital M is nothing but what? Here 1 divided by m1 plus m2. If you add all the masses m1 plus m2 so on mn, that is nothing but capital M. Capital M is the summation of mass of all the particles in the denominator. So therefore I have taken it outside. So that is fixed. So whereas I have added this m1 x1 m2 x2 summation from I is equal to 1 to n m1 mi xi, where I is equal to, you can replace I by I is equal to 1 2 3 so on. Here also x I is equal to 1 2 3 so on, so that it will become m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 so on, like that. So here I have written here capital M is nothing but m1 plus m2 plus so on mn. Now similarly for y, center of mass for y axis, that is 1 upon m into mi yi, z same is equal to 1 upon m into mi zi, so on, like that. Here we are going to here again calculate the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity after knowing what is the meaning of center of mass. Now we have already linear velocity is given by v is equal to ds upon dt, that is a rate of change of displacement. So here I have written here d divided by dt, rate of change of r theta. What is r theta? So r theta is nothing but is equal to s, that is s is equal to, if you consider this is the arc, that is arc of the circle. So arc of the circle s is equal to what is the angle created into radius. So here if the body is moving in a circular path like this, so this is the distance covered, that is displacement, then theta is the angle covered, r is the radius, then what is the arc length, that is s is equal to, we are going to have the relation, that is r into theta. Earlier classes in the SSLC you have understood this. Therefore we have replaced s in to the r theta. Therefore I have taken, that is radius is constant for the circle, r is taken outside, therefore it becomes d theta by dt. So what is d theta by dt? That is rate of change of angle. So that is nothing but angular velocity, omega. So therefore v is equal to r omega. So this is the relationship between linear velocity and angular velocity, that is v is linear velocity, omega is angular velocity. So therefore linear velocity is equal to the product of the what is called as radius of the circle into angular velocity. So this is the relationship between linear velocity and angular velocity. Similarly, what is the relationship between linear acceleration and angular acceleration? So linear acceleration, we have linear acceleration is equal to a is equal to dv by dt. What is meaning of this? Rate of change of linear velocity. So therefore this is equal to d by dt of v is replaced by r omega, because already we are having here v is equal to r omega. So replaced by r omega. So here r is taken outside because it is again the radius which is constant. So omega is, that is angular velocity, again it is continuously changing, therefore r into d omega by dt. So therefore a is equal to r into d omega by dt is nothing but what? Rate of change of angular velocity. So that is nothing but the angular acceleration, that is represented by alpha. So therefore A is equal to R alpha. So this is the relationship between a linear velocity and linear acceleration and angular acceleration. That is, linear acceleration is the product of the radius of the circle and the what is called as the angular acceleration. So this is the relationship. So therefore today we have discussed about the important terms related to system of particles and rotational motion and types of motion and relationship between linear velocity, angular velocity, linear acceleration, angular acceleration, center of mass, and the center of mass for x, y and z coordinates. So thank you. So in the next class I am going to continue with the other concepts. Thank you.